Hello, my name is Beverly Sabattis. Today I will be sharing my survival story. First, I'd like to thank ANDPVA and the Canada Council of Arts for this opportunity to share my story, in hopes that it will help others who just could help them to know that there is hope in recovery. My native ancestry is Gwich'in from Fort McPherson, Northwest Territories. My mother, Geranium Bonnet Plume, is a survivor of All Saints Residential School in Aklavik, Northwest Territories. As a daughter of a residential school survivor, like my mom, I was not taught in a way a child needs to be disciplined, from the word disciple, a follower of a good way. Because she was taught with group shaming and crowd control, even though she was taught in a harsh way in an institution, she was still loving and kind, and I loved her very much, like all kids love their mom, because she didn't get her needs met by a loving home. She couldn't give me what she didn't have. She met and married my dad, who also came from a dysfunctional home, both parents experiencing alcohol and violence as a child. They became alcoholics as well, and I too went through verbal and physical abuse. When I was 8, my parents split up, and the courts gave custody to my dad. I grieved in silence the loss of my mother, and dreamed of being reunited to live with her. This was my dream at 8 years old. I dreamed that when I turned 16, which I thought was the right age to leave home. It was very sad and hurtful to be raised without a mother in an all-white rural town out west. I was racially profiled at such a young, innocent age. I was singled out at school, and I couldn't talk to anyone and had to endure and cope as best I could. I would hide in the washroom at school to hide from the kids singling me out and teasing me. It didn't help to be pointed out for my clothing and food I had that was different, as I had to take care of my own clothing and make my own lunches. I tried to fit in as best I could. Finally, when I turned 16, I managed to get to the city on the Greyhound bus. But when I got there, I had no support, as my mother was homeless and deep in her addiction to alcohol. I managed to secure a nice rooming house apartment with a good home. The Chinese lady was very good to me, but after being there for 3 months, I moved to a basement apartment, and I was called by the police to tell me my mom's body was found in the river, unexplained death. The last time I saw her, I begged her to come to my place and stay there, at least be there when I got home from school. But she wasn't there. This is when I descended deeper into alcohol. I really thought I was a defect, because I only had 3 credits to finish my high school, but dropped out. I had no safety net, but had a friend at work, ANDPVA, we decided to go up north to plant trees. I always loved the outdoors, and together with a backpack, we hitchhiked to High Prairie. We both got jobs in a restaurant until it was time to start our tree planting job. My friend got a job with her other French friends, but I wasn't hired. I decided to go to the boss and ask why. When I got there, the boss's wife spoke to me. She was also native, and she said she didn't know why. After some self-reflection, I believed it was due to the fact I was drinking too much. This is when I went to Lesser Slave Lake for a geographical cure. I got a job there, fighting fire. I worked at Red Earth Base Camp as a cook. I met my daughter's dad there and had my daughter 9 months later. He was a non-drinker and encouraged me to attend programs. He read in the paper. It was called Native Women's Pre-Employment Training Program. This program was centered around a holistic approach, body, mind, and soul. At the start of the class, we would do a 20-minute workout. Then we smudged and had a sharing circle, checking in on how we were feeling. The girls and I talked about our night out, dancing, and about the outfits we wore and where we bought them. But there was one girl who would There was one girl who would share about her 12-step meeting of AA and Alcoholics Anonymous. And she would ask us girls if we would like to attend with her. None of us wanted to. I felt intimidated of what she was talking about, like self-worth, self-esteem, and healing from an alcoholic home. But there was something about her that I admired, her courage. And I prayed to Creator to meet her and become her friend. Thank God, because this is how I found a better path of life. As I was learning about Native history in this course and why I drank due to my mom being in a residential school, and there was a reason why people turned to addictions due to abandonment and trauma. My mom didn't get to be with a loving family, but in an institution that taught with crowd control and group shaming. This is when I started reading books and healing and attending healing circles, all the while walking and spending time in nature. Nature is so healing. And I was learning about healing plants and foods from Mother Earth to table. Because I was raised on a farm until I was 13, I had the love of the land and learning how to recognize different plants and planting gardens. And my mother would take us on the trap line. She would snare rabbits, and she would shoot partridges to put on our table for food. And I really enjoyed that, going with my mother, although it was hard to see these animals, but both my parents helped me to understand that this is necessary for our food. That's what we ate. So when I got into my healing, I continued to walk on the land and pick plants like dandelions and stinging nettles and like golden seal and sumac and different plants and herbs that you can make teas with, or you could even dry and you could smudge with and things like that. So that was a really big step in my healing. So being out on the land really helped me heal from a dysfunctional home. It helped with stress and depression. Walking and foraging on the land gives me energy and lifts my spirit. Also, I am seeing a therapist because life on the medicine wheel, we all go through different stages of life where issues and challenges come up. And this is a great way to process feelings and find new ways of handling situations. When we know better, we do better. By sharing what I'm feeling and how I coped as a child, I can thank my inner child for how she survived. But revisiting these feelings, I can change patterns now as an adult. I can change patterns and behaviors and find better ways to heal with the hurts. As a child, it wasn't safe to share, to say how I felt, but to just follow direction. Today, I can reach out and talk to trusted people who can listen to what I'm going through. We do recover. one day at a time. And so it's really helpful that through my healing journey, that I wanted to raise my children where they had a mother and a father in the home, and I was very blessed to find somebody who loves me and I love him. So together we raised 5 daughters, and we raised our grandson. And I'm still very involved in my family, and we love, and one of our favorite things to do is to get together with home cooked meals from scratch, from earth to table, and then to go walking in the woods and just enjoy now that I am not in a place that I used to be when I was younger, that through healing, from my story, of what I went through, I can just say that although it's very hard to tell, it's very healing to tell your story. And that's what I am continuing to do, because in life is a healing journey. And like I mentioned, things will come up. We will get triggered, because that's life, and it's life on life's terms. So I'm very happy today, and I just want to thank you, and I hope happy healing for anybody and everybody who has experienced a childhood of dysfunction, abuse, and due to Native history and residential schools, and anybody else out there who has suffered through hardships, because it really, I believe can make us stronger when we heal. We have more compassion for others. I love to help people and just share with people. And again, thank you for listening. And I would just like to again give a shout out to ANDPVA and the Canada Council of the Arts. Thank you. Nettle plant, can you pick it? I could, but then it stings your hands. So you'd want to wear gloves. But like I said, some people will pick it with their hands because they believe that it's beneficial to arthritis, and it's like acupuncture with the needles and that, but it's very uncomfortable. I would recommend gloves. Beauty is healing, and you could create beauty with these kind of beautiful white poplar branches. I've made several myself over the years, collecting sumac, birch branches, and like spruce boughs, whatever you have, the evergreen trees. When you're in the woods, you can collect those and make beautiful planters. Okay, now just... something else. It's okay. I'll give you a daisy better. I'll love you until the rivers run still and the 4 winds we all blow away. Ho, ho. Oh, and who's that hiding behind a tree? I'd just like to take this opportunity to thank you for giving me this opportunity to share my story as a survivor, coming from excuse me, a mother who's from a residential school, and some of the healing modalities that I do to cope and create holistic healing within myself, body, mind, and soul. One of the things that I like to do is gardening. And if you just come over here, I'll show you what I planted. I do, let's just call it curbside gardening. This is lettuce that I'm letting grow into seed, because then I'll take the seeds and I'll plant them next year. So I have some Swiss chard, some flowers for the curbside appeal. There's the parsley, basil, and other herbs in there, rosemary, oregano, and sage. More plants, and I'll come over here. I've planted tomatoes, and these are the tomatoes that I grow every year. And this year I didn't grow too much because I went away for the summer, but I still
getting
managed
the shadow here.
to get a bounty crop. So it's really nice to be able to grow and have a nice toasted tomato sandwich or make some sauce. As I said, this year I don't have as much. Here's some beets. This is coriander growing to seed. And that's the seed. When you let your plants overgrow, they'll turn into seeds. There's little teeny tiny seeds in there. There's a seed, and the others fell to the ground. I'll have to pick those. There's more in here. And then you just plant it in a pot in the spring, and then you can plant them in the ground. This is also lettuce, and it's growing to seed along with that other one over there. This is a lilac tree that I'm growing. Here's some compost that I'll take out and use the mulch to fertilize the soil. Just a watering bucket to water my plants, some geraniums and flowers. And here, if I stayed for the summer, would have created a better crop, but I got some cucumbers and squash off of that. That flower will grow into a squash. There's some basil and chives. This is more seeds. Seeds for lettuce. And here we have a pepper plant, more chives, and this is squash. And over here we have another tomato plant. This was the beans that I had planted. They're in the house, just flowers. Here's a melon. So that's the melon plant. And as you can see, this is where I live. And this is where I plant my garden. There's my lovely husband. Hi, Rob.
Hello.
So, just like to say thank you, ANDPVA, for this opportunity to show you what I do to help myself heal. And if we go in the house, I'll show you more gardening that I like to do. The planters by my gate outside. And we have some plants that I'm growing here. Apple trees from seeds. You take your seeds, you put it in a moist paper towel in a Tupperware container, and you let them sit in your fridge to germinate. Another tomato. And you let them germinate, and when they germinate and they come up as little seedlings, you plant them in the pot, and soon I'll put them in the ground. Not sure if I'll keep them in for the winter under a grow light, or if I'll just put it under the ground. I have limited space, so I'll have to try to figure out where I'm going to relocate them, and I'll be right there. So As we come inside, I'll show you some of the preserving that I do. This is plums, and that's the jam, the sauce. Whole plums, more jam. This is green tomato relish, and a few other ones. I have more downstairs. I also dehydrate dandelion and different herbs for tea that I like to consume rather than buy the commercial teas, which are fine, but I can taste the difference. Of course, we have the smudging, the medicines. That is sage. Here's the beans. I would have got more, but like I said, I went away. So I'll use those for seeds. You just need a few. And the rest we'll have in a chili. My herbal tea. And here's some more herbal tea that I like to pick while I'm foraging out in the woods. And have a dehydrator that I use to dehydrate my teas. And this is actually sage, which you can make sage tea or use it in your cooking. There's other trays. I think that's basil. And more herbs that I dehydrate, using in cooking and stews and soups. I'll put those in jars. And yeah, Tyson, eating wholesome foods. Gonna make some. Sure. And there's my grandson, who is family, of course. Very healing to me. And you let them grow, and you let them grow. If they come back, it's very wonderful, but they're very independent and like to travel, and it's wonderful when we get together. So in the front yard, love to plant strawberries, some boxwood plant, just to love to decorate the yard and create a garden there. There's part of where I plant, but because of these big trees, they're getting enough sun, so I have to do plants that love shade. Maybe if I cut those branches down, we'll have more sun and make another garden, but the road is really busy. I did put some tomatoes out there, and they didn't do all that great. So that's why I mostly plant in the back. I also had a garden that I shared with an 82-year-old Italian lady that taught me a lot about planting tomatoes and beans and how to can them and store them and prepare them for cooking. So next I'll take you out into the woods and show you where I go foraging for my herbs, and I'll be picking apples, wild apples, and crab apples, and making some crab apple jelly and making some juice. So that's the next episode. Talk to you soon. Kurt. Jelly, and here we are at the park with some apples that are hanging over to be picked. Have a good day. Bye. One of my healing modalities is to be out here in nature. And right now I'm next to this plant. It's a raspberry plant. And with the leaves, the berries are gone. So this is October. You could pick the leaves and you can dry them out, or you could just go home and you can just cut it up or just crumble it up and make tea out of it. So there's many benefits to that, and you could Google it. But this you could also put in smoothies and shakes. Just put it in your blender and you get a lot of chlorophyll from this, vitamins and minerals. Chlorophyll, very good for us. So I'm just going to put that in my pocket, and Mother Earth provides all the abundance that we need, because I chose a healing path of holistic health. Here I am walking and here we are in Mother Earth. So healing, heart healing, mind and body and soul. So beautiful to breathe in the fresh air of the outdoors, all the green plants around us, giving us oxygen, a breath of fresh air, de-stress, and to just get in touch with that still small voice within, because they say the answers lie within. All the answers. We just have to come up with the questions. Beautiful bouquet and brighten up anyone's day. I think just me walking in nature. Oops. Wiping my smirk off my face. Okay, get over here. I'm walking.
Hold on.
And I said, hold on, ready? Are you ready?
Right.
Goldenrod. This is goldenrod. Mango. Here I am in God's, here in Creator's garden. The flowers are absolutely gorgeous this time of year, and they're actually gorgeous all year round. So right now I just picked some broadleaf plantain, and this is the seeds and the leaves, and you could use this as a poultice. Like if you have a wound, this will stop you from bleeding. You could put it in your mouth and chew it up. You can even put these in smoothies, and you can put it on your wound and it'll here in Creator's garden. The flowers are absolutely gorgeous this time of year, and they're actually gorgeous all year round. So right now I just picked some broadleaf plantain, and this is the seeds and the leaves, and you could use this as a poultice. Like if you have a wound, this will stop you from bleeding. You could put it in your mouth and chew it up. You can even put these in smoothies, and you can put it on your wound and it'll stop it from bleeding.
Mom!
Sorry. Cut. Agent proof, right? Oh my God, look at Lake Ontario. So gorgeous. Oh, that, my friend, is what it's all about. Just being out here in nature, seeing the beauty. We have stinging nettle. This plant here is the first plant that comes up in the spring. Mother Nature knew what we needed after a long winter. Creator knew. I usually, when I pick it, I put on gloves, but some people pick it without gloves because they say that's like acupuncture and it helps with arthritis. Well, I'm not that brave because it's not comfortable to get that, to touch it. So I use gloves, but you could eat that like spinach, but it's even milder and tastes better to me than spinach. And it has iron, vitamins, minerals, calcium, everything you would want in a plant. You could boil it and you could put it in your smoothies, or like I said, you could eat it like spinach. This is an awesome plant. I'm gonna have to come back with gloves and pick some and eat it with some butter or olive oil, salt and pepper. Very, very delicious. Okay, you can catch up now and then show that area, like cut. Basically show all of this. Those are wild apple trees. More goldenrod. Here we have a white poplar tree, and in the spring and when the buds form, you could collect the buds and you could heat it up in oil, any kind of oil like olive oil, anything that you would put in your body, you know, is good to put on your skin, and it's good for pain relief and moisturizing. And the buds here have the medicines in it that will fuse with the oil and give us health benefits. Oil, olive oil, cooking oil for that fact, or even coconut oil, and it will fuse into the oil and give healing and health benefits for arthritis as well. Oh, here's the sumac. And here we have the sumac. And you can pick this and you can make tea with it as well. It's very high in vitamin C. And it's very refreshing and cleansing. So just be careful where you pick it. You don't want to go down there. But there it is over there. There's more in an area that's accessible. And of like sticks this long, they make great planters. Beauty is healing, and you could create beauty with these kind of beautiful white poplar branches. I've made several myself, over the years, collecting sumac, birch branches, and like spruce boughs, whatever you have, the evergreen trees. When you're in the woods, you can collect those and make beautiful. Nettle plant. Can you pick it? I could, but then it stings your hands. So you'd want to wear gloves. But like I said, some people will pick it with their hands because they believe that it's beneficial to arthritis. And it's like acupuncture with the needles and that, but it's very uncomfortable. I would recommend gloves. So right here is the dandelion. You could actually pick this right now. I didn't get the root, but you could take that home, wash it up, you can make salad out of it, you could boil it. But what I like to do the best is just wash it, chop it up, and put it in the blender and mix it with lemon. And you could put fresh fruit in it. And it's very, very high in iron and calcium, magnesium, every mineral and vitamin you can think of. And right next to it is another powerhouse of a medicine. That's stinging nettle right there. And touched it, but
And then what do you do with your hands? Smile. And smile. Now hold it. Both hands. Put it together.
okay. We got another one here, Jen. We'll actually make
Now hold it. Smile. Got it. Okay, stop moving. Hold it. And then smile. Big smile. Look towards the sun. The abundance.
push. Oh. I think that might be it.
Did we do this already for raspberry?
Yes. Yes, but I want some. We'll put it in a dehydrator and use it for tea. That's wild grapes. Right there. Wish there was some grapes, but I don't see any. I know there's some at that place, where the beige building is.
Go.
So here we have some wild grapes, and you could eat the seeds and all. They're very beneficial for you. And you could pick it and you could make like wild grape jelly. And again, you could put it in your smoothies. Okay, that is not, yeah, maybe that is, that's different. But you could put it in your smoothies and get all the health benefits from there. I can't think of what they are, but I know even colors in nature, like all the colors, like raspberry red, like these blue grapes. Like we have an aura, we have chakras, and these are healing to our chakras. This here could be your mind's eye, right? Because that's blue, and this chakra, or this chakra here, your communication is blue. So that's healing for our communication. This chakra here. So that's the wild grapes. You can eat them raw, seed and all. And so you get your fiber, and you get your beautiful, beautiful healing practices from here. Beautiful. What else can I say? So hopefully we will have a voiceover on that, right? So take that.
If you stop talking.
Just mute me. Oh my God, there's so many here.
Stop talking. Beautiful.
Eat it, but okay. Mmm. So delicious.
I eat it like a goddess.